Okay, so what I have down for tonight is just a few things. The first one, I wanted to talk about the paper and actually more put it on you if you had any questions or concerns about getting your leadership paper done or anything you wanted to ask about. The second one, and I've seen nobody's done it yet, but I had in the slideshow, I suggest that you write a personal purpose statement, and I created a Padlet for you if you wanted to post yours to share. I can't remember, did we use a Padlet in this course yet? Have you used Padlet?
Yeah, we did the first week.
Okay, I couldn't remember. I know I had in one of the other courses. So there's a Padlet up if you feel like sharing. Um, and again, it's not required. It was kind of just more for fun, of interest, see what y'all came up with. And then if there was anything on the PowerPoint about strategic planning you wanted to know, um, talk just a little bit about that, and then just be sure you're clear on your next group assignment, which you'll be doing next week, which is related to the one that you're doing this week. Was there anything in particular other than that that you wanted to be sure I hit on? No? Okay, so let's talk about the leadership paper. And one of the things I want to be sure you look at is the non-narrated PowerPoint that I put up, because one of the, besides going through and talking about the things that I ask you to address, at the end, you're going to write some goals. And I'd like those goals to be what you're going to try to accomplish over the remainder of the MSN program while you're in it. So for some of you, if you're part-time, it may be more than 1 year. For a lot of you, it may be just next year. And what I have written into the practicum courses is that in your journals, you are going to be asked to address your goals each time and how you're working on them. So if you make your goals too concrete, like, complete a certification in, whatever my field is by June of 2018, you're not going to have very much to write to next year. Hold on just a second. God. I've been asking for my water. I'm getting to the end of a cold here. So, if you can, think of things that you might be able to develop or even to observe upon. Oh, I hope I'm not going to start having this coughing thing that I can't talk. Hold on again. I apologize for that. That you can work on over the year. So, if it's communications, so about running meetings, it's there are probably a lot of different things that you decide you may want to improve on. Excuse me if I mute myself. So think of that for a minute while I cough and go away for a minute. I'm sorry. I'm better this week than last week. Hopefully none of you are in my 507 class and heard what the horrible thing I went through when I was starting this cold. So as you do your goals again, try, I do say I want them measurable and things you can set a time thing on, but again, if they're too concrete, it's going to kind of make them hard to write to when you're writing, your journal and things next year. Hold on. Then at the end of your final practicum course, you're going to rewrite, put out some more surveys, and you're going to rewrite the leadership paper, and you're going to kind of look at where, how have you done your goals and pull together what you've looked at. So the goal right now isn't to be perfect, but to look at where are the areas I want to improve on. What kind of things might I want to learn, do better, improve on, etc. So I guess it's wonderful if you get an all perfect score, but it's going to make it harder to find areas to improve on. So those are some of the things that I'd really like you to look at. And again, the PowerPoint talks about writing goals and making them specific and measurable and all those things. So anyone have any questions about that? Are you doing okay on them?
So are you saying none of us are going to get a perfect score? So we have room for improvement?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we're talking about from your peers and your manager. Maybe you will get a perfect score, but
Oh, okay.
it'll be harder to like write to, how you've improved if you're already perfect. So
There's always areas for improvement. Thank
that's
you.
right. That's right. So, and anyways, it's interesting to look at it. And most people don't have the same people reviewing them in a year because, we're in different places. So it'll be interesting to compare what you get next year to what you have this year. So any other questions at all about the leadership paper?
I just want to confirm it's due on Sunday on the syllabus. I think it says the 5th of March.
That probably was a date from last year. I think I've told you that sometimes there's dates embedded here and there, and they miss changing one. So I will check where it says. Where did it say the 5th? Do you remember? On the assignment itself?
On the syllabus.
Okay, well, kind of late to change the syllabus. I'll make sure it says on the course. Okay. Yeah. So it is Sunday. Almost all assignments will be due the end of the day Sundays.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so if it's a day later, it's because that was a Sunday date last year. And as I said, I try to catch them all. Every so often I miss one. Okay. Anything else? You guys are all in the second semester, so hopefully you've learned by now to pull out the rubric, the grading rubric, and look at it, look at where the big points are and make sure you hit the things that are in the rubric. I've actually had people like, I'm okay, I have to open this. No, I don't have it in front of me. But I think there's something about you have to pick a theory and write about it, correct? And then I've had people totally not do that, and that kind of takes a chunk of points out. So I don't want to do that. So make sure you have included everything that's in the rubric. Okay? Anything else? This is your chance.
Do we need a minimum number of references?
No minimum for this.
Okay.
There might just be a couple, if pulling out some leadership theories and things, but it's more of a self-reflective exercise, so you're not going to have a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, next I'm going to go to share screen and see if anybody put anything up on the purpose statements. Okay, only now I don't see them. All right, let me try a different way of looking for it. Got to go over here on mine. Okay, so then I'll come back to you guys if I can find you. Where are you all? There. No, there. Okay. So now let me try the share screen again. Boy, it's not cooperating. I don't think you're seeing the same thing I am, but I'm supposed to have a screen that, that shows all the different things I have open, and doesn't want to show me that. Well, that's too bad. Well, what I can tell you right now is I'm the only one who has a purpose statement up. And if you get on the Padlet and look, what I said was I found a paper I wrote in 1994, and it was actually about my philosophy of leadership. So it was really fun because I mean, it's a really old paper, and then I found it and I looked back and I thought that, from where I was in 94 to where I found, the paper in the last couple of years, it was really interesting to see how I think that I have continued in the purpose that I have, and then ended up doing what I wanted to do. And the last part was that my long-term goal was to teach at a university so I could influence nurses to create changes in the profession and the community. At the time, I was not teaching the university. So I thought that was kind of fun. But anyways, to see those kind of things. Okay, so back to finding you guys again. And I couldn't share the screen. I never found it. Okay, so I don't have any purpose statements to share, but again, if you look at the PowerPoint and consider, if you have a personal purpose statement, think about what it is. Why do we do what we do? Why are we even in this profession? You know, one of the things they've said over time, not everybody agrees, but a profession is kind of a calling. And we're in it for a reason. We do what we want to do. We do this because it's something we want to do, and we're excited to do. Oh my God. Oh, I thought I was muted, but it's one of you. I'm so sorry. It just scared me. Anyway, so think about that and think of it, what it is that that you consider your purpose in this profession and why you do it. And if you don't want to share it, that's fine, but just make it something you want to think about. Have most of you been able to view the PowerPoint yet or not?
Yes.
Any questions on it about the strategic planning? I'm pretty sure that in the PowerPoint, I have it printed out, what I actually said somewhere, that I talked about my experiences in strategic planning. And I was actually really lucky that I got to do it at a hospital or medical center level, because I was what they called a clinical services director, which was, I had a manager of several units. I wasn't like an associate chief or anything like that, but I was one of the ones that was pulled in to do this planning effort, and it was really exciting, really interesting to be with some of the top administrators in what for us was a really informal setting. We went off site, kind of spent all this time together, and excuse me, could you turn the sound down over there? Sorry. And we talked about the things that you see here and created a plan for the medical center. Now, one of the things that I was a bit of a problem in the end was the plan was so complex. I mean, pages after pages and column after column. I actually think that we got bogged down in that, and then being able to like carry it out. And that's why I included that article on the nursing strategic planning that was done at Palomar Palmerado, which actually is down here in Escondido. And I thought that was a good one. And they go through all of their things about, how they looked at their values and vision, and then, how they were able to put it into action. Because I think if, if your plans get too complex, your goals are too many, your plans are too complex, I don't think it's that helpful. And the other thing that happens is when you look at strategic planning, they're doing them for long term, and things are changing so fast. You've got to have flexibility, because you may think, well, 5 years we're going to do this, and the whole healthcare, systems may have changed in that time period. So it makes it difficult. So, any of you been involved in any strategic planning efforts? No.
Yes.
Oh, who's this?
This is Kimberly.
Okay. Kimberly, so tell us where it was and what you did.
Well, usually after surveyors come on site, there's always action plans that need to be done, but that's house-wide initiatives. So that's a little piece of it. But strategic planning, what we have in our organization, is aligned with the magnet model. So we have different councils that are set up. So for example, I am part of the Transformational Leadership Council Committee, and what our team is, our goals are to just continue to grow our leaders in the hospital. So we put together a charge nurse course, and we offer that twice a year, where we send all our charge nurses in the hospital. The other thing that we've done is created, we practice relationship-based care by Mary Lou Corlordis. That is our model that we practice in our organization. So we set up a PowerPoint presentation where we broke down each chapter, and we gave it to the clinical directors so they can use this as a guide and a tool during their charge nurse meetings. So we created the curriculum, we added all the points of what they need to speak to. so they can continue to grow their leaders and implement relationship-based care with their leaders in their departments.
Those are great examples. And I'm not familiar with the relationship-based care. I'm going to look that up. It sounds really interesting. How is that received by staff and others? Do you think that it's positive?
It's definitely positive because it kind of recenters them and their focus of why they're nurses and why they're leaders and how they can practice relationship-based care in their everyday roles, either at the bedside as a charge nurse, or some of them are, designated charge nurses. And one of the things that I've actually done is I have my designated charge nurse help me give that education, so the rest of the team recognizes them as formal leaders and they're getting education from them as well. So it's really helped our team grow and just having a better understanding of how we need to practice this every day that we're at work.
I really like this, and it makes me think that, the strategic planning I did, I believe, was in the 1990s. And again, it was the whole, medical center. But I think one of the things we didn't do is we didn't start from a model. And it almost and maybe that's kind of why it kind of went all over the place, and maybe when you start from a model, that's kind of, it certainly helps your vision, your values and things like that. But maybe it also can help organize the direction you're going to go, because it seems like the goals kind of come naturally out of, what the model is and what it is you're looking at.
Yes, it's definitely helped us in the direction that we need to go. And it, like I said, it just helps everybody really focus on the why we're there.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I've been dealing this just a couple days. My 92-year-old father is in a hospital, and I won't name its name because I had a really negative encounter with the nurse.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
In fact, she yelled at him 3 different times. One of them, he had called her to ask, he was told not to get out of bed, so he called to ask for her to bring him the newspaper that my brother had brought him, left on the bedside table. And she came in and she started yelling at him about people were not allowed to come in the room and make messes. And so then she reorganized the newspaper, put it back, and never gave it to him, but yelled at him about how messy the newspaper was. And he said it wasn't even messy. And then another time he was trying to get care or attention, and he called 4 different times. And she finally came in and yelled at him, what the heck is the big emergency in here? That was number 2. And I can't remember what the third one was and so, he was so easygoing. He goes, everybody else has been really good, but that one nurse was really not nice to me. So when you said relationship-based care, I'm thinking why how are you looking at this 92-year-old man and I don't know, not kind of looking at where he is or in his needs, but getting angry over things. It was just interesting to me. So, anyways, it kind of got my ire up a little over it, but interesting. So you never can tell. So anyone else have any experiences in strategic planning? Or I don't know why I can't see your name over there.
My facility is actually going through one right now, actually at the moment. Sorry, my connection's kind of choppy, so I apologize if I cut out.
Okay.
I work at Stanford Healthcare in the Bay, and they're in the process of opening up a new tower. And traditionally, it's been Stanford Medicine, the Children's Hospital, and then the adult side, all 3 separate entities. And then they just finished the children's side, and then they're going to open up the adults next fall 2019. And we're trying to integrate all 3 entities together as one. And so they've solicited a lot of feedback from a lot of the nursing staff. We've just developed a champion group from all the units to come together and see what the process is going to be like, as far as what units will be what, and just basically have good discourse with nursing administration about the culture of the new place, which I think is really good. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, you get experiences and things. I mean, that sounds like a really massive um, thing to be pulling together. But I don't know, just being in the process, and I think I say that in this slideshow. Sometimes the process is even more important than the plan itself, and the interact. If you get a chance to be in anything like this, volunteer, because the process is really interesting. This is kind of a sad thing to say, but we had like the nicest director of our hospital, and he'd worked his way up through the VA system. He started out as a clerk or something, but it's kind of like when I got into these closed doors with him, I'm like, oh my God, this guy is not very bright. Um, Sad to say. I mean, again, he was a good man, he's a good organizer, but like when you start trying to like do this planning and think conceptually, it's like he just kind of didn't get it, or he didn't pull it together. It's hard to explain. So you learn a lot of things about people and how different people communicate just by being involved in the process with things. So I probably shouldn't say that about him. As I said, he was really a nice man, and I have a lot of respect for him. I just was kind of surprised working with him. My husband says I'm not being nice about him. I'm sorry. Um, Great stories, kind of really different things between a whole hospital thing versus a nursing one that you're based upon. So magnet, right? You were saying, really interesting. So uh, sounds like some of you have that and are going in that direction. So that kind of moves us into, you've done in your groups now, you've created your little organizations or unit or whatever it is you're going to do. So now you're not going to do a whole strategic planning thing, but I want you to get together in your groups and start coming together with what your mission and goals and values are. And okay, I also tried to pull this up before, so let me see if I can share that screen or if it showed up anywhere. It's really frustrating. I don't understand why that window doesn't open. Okay, that wasn't my desktop. Okay. Maybe if I open it and come back, let me just try one more thing, okay? So I had it. Okay, this is instructions for week 7. So now I'm going to go over here and try sharing and see if it'll do it. Okay. Oh, they're there. I found them. Okay, share screen. Okay, so this is next week, and I know you're busy with other things this week, but I just kind of wanted to for you to just look at it. So you're going to be oh, don't go away. You're going to be looking at going to project planning next week, and but because you had your paper, I moved the group work about the mission and goals into next week. So you're going to develop the mission and goals for your setting, and you're going to view, you've already viewed the PowerPoint for this week, so you're ahead on that part. And then you're going to come up with your mission statement. And then I want you individually to brainstorm some things, think about some of the trends that have recently impacted practice. And then if you can, think ahead to the next 10 years. Now, as I said, things really are changing fast, but maybe you can kind of think of some things on the horizon that might impact what's going to happen. And as it said, you can include citations. I'm not requiring them. And then develop your vision, and everybody should think of what you want your core values to be, and then discuss it, and then come up with one mission statement, a vision, and 4 core values. Okay, so you want to start on a little early in the week so you have time for everybody to pipe in and put up what they're all thinking. Okay, and then that will go into your group wiki. All right, so that's next week. So any questions on that?
No.
Okay, good. As I said, I just wanted to let you know about it. Okay, stop share. There we go. Okay, that again, I know you have other things to work on this week. I don't think it'll be that difficult, but just so you kind of know what's ahead. And that's all I had to go over. So I'm just open for questions, and if not, can go on and do some other work.
I did have one question regarding last week's assignment.
Uh-huh.
Is that under grades, or where did you post our final?
I thought I emailed them to each of you and posted a grade.
Okay, I'll double check.
Both of them are for me.
I'm sorry, what?
I said I got both of them. Like
Okay.
mine listed under the grades, and I got the email.
Yeah, okay.
Mine too.
Okay, so who did not see it yet? Who
That
said
was
they-
me.
Okay, well, I'll
Department of-
check yours and make sure because I sit there one at a time making sure I email them out. So I'll go back and check and make sure I send it to you. Okay. Everybody did really good. I was very impressed by all your, abilities to find the chaos and complexity in the movies. I think I said on Jurassic Park kind of points us more clearly to chaos theory because of the fact it includes Dr. Malcolm, who was supposed to be a theorist. I don't know if it was any of you, somebody took on the Matrix. And I have to confess, I haven't even watched the Matrix, but it sounds really complex. I really, I admire whoever it was that did the Matrix. But I mean, people with the Wizard of Oz and with Outbreak did really good jobs also, and pointing out, and most all did, chaos theory, because the minute changes that had happened at the beginning impact what happened, later in the movie. But and I can't remember if any of you wrote about, but when you can look at the complexity theory too, and somebody wrote about a code situation, and that made me think about complexity, or what do they call it, complex adaptive systems, where you have all these different parts of the system. It's a very complex system, but they come together in a code, and then an order like spontaneously almost develops, when with everybody working together. So to me, in my mind, that was an example of complexity. But the movies, I think you can really see the chaos, and I just thought everybody did a great job, so it was enjoyable reading them. So anything else?
No, thank you so much.
Okay, well, it's good to see all of you, and have a good week. Feel free to. What? Hello? Was there a question or comment, or should we? Okay, and well, go ahead and email me, when you have questions, and if there are anything during the week, I try to answer quickly. I don't think it was you guys. Somebody emailed me at the basketball game last night, and I couldn't get back to it till this morning. But unless I'm out doing something, I try to answer as soon as I can for you, so you can keep up on things. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
you.
Talk to you again. Have a good week.
Good night.
Okay, good night. Let's see. Stop recording. There it is.